For Creamer Media TV, I'm Sasha Lee Solomons. Joining me today is Greiner Mendi Managing Director, Lars Greiner, and we will be discussing a few of the challenges in the logistics industry as well as its future developments. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Mr. Greiner.
Good morning, Sasha. Thank you for having me.
What are some of the challenges that the logistics industry is facing today?
I think the logistics industry right now is facing some significant challenges in terms of inefficiencies that have crept in over the good times, and as we go into a world now where value add becomes more important, the logistics industry really is in a state of flux and requiring a new model and changes to take place in the model. Mm-hmm. Specifically in South Africa, we've allowed a lot of inefficiencies to develop in our logistics methodology and the way we undertake logistics. The logistics industry needs to move towards a more efficient model where the companies are actually offering a value add. The situation we have right now, where companies are simply buying and selling on a margin, is not a sustainable model. Companies are not adding value to what they're doing, and with the requirements of cheaper prices, more compliance, more legislation, we really need to have a situation where the logistics industry becomes clearer and more open.
Mm-hmm. Having mentioned some of these challenges, would you say there are means of mitigating them?
Absolutely. I think when we look at some of the challenges that are out there right now, very simple changes need to take place. I mentioned compliance before. Compliance is a very big issue and it's becoming more and more important for everyone. And yet you've got a situation where a company will employ a freight forwarder, quite honestly, check them for their compliance, check them for how good they for their regulatory requirements, do a due diligence on their finances, and yet will not check to see who their subcontractors are. Mm-hmm. This could lead to the freight forwarder subcontracting to another company or even a third company, and before you know it, the trucks that are carrying the cargo or the ships that are carrying the cargo are absolutely non-compliant, and the shipper has no clue that this is happening. The entire supply chain is at risk simply because of the unclarity. Someone recently described the logistics industry to me as a black art, and I find that very sad because in reality logistics should be a glass pipeline. It's no longer a situation where mysteriously everything gets picked up and poof, it arrives. Today with tracking programs online, cargo is tracked not just by container or by package, but down to the item in the package. We've got all kinds of possibilities for tracking cargo. Customs is done more and more online. Everything should be open and clear, when in actual fact, the guys who are trying to hold it back by keeping this grey box there, that's keeping the black art, all they're doing is adding to a cost. The modern way really must be about value add, and companies should really check to see what those value adds are. When working with a freight forwarder, for example, you should check to see what qualifications they have, what experience, what projects, particularly in the engineering field, what engineering projects have they moved cargo for before. I personally would recommend to go even further and to ask for a CV of the particular staff that will be managing your particular project. Engineers do it all the time between each other, so why not ask for that in logistics? One of my personal big bugbears is the situation where, while an engineer studies for 7 years to become an engineer, a ship's captain studies for 7 years to become a ship's captain, and yet in South Africa we have nothing blocking the entry into the logistics industry. Anyone can file a bond for 1,000 rand with customs and claim to be a logistician. We need to develop some kind of level where we can say, this guy is a qualified logistic and this is how he's qualified. There are numerous international bodies for it, but even if we had a simple test in South Africa, do they know the basics? Do they know what Incoterms are? Do they know what full liner terms are in shipping? Very basic stuff, but it would sort the wheat from the chaff very quickly.
Thank you so much. And lastly, Mr. Greiner, seeing that there's hope for the industry, what do you suspect the future holds for the logistics industry?
The future is accelerating at a phenomenal rate, and I'm personally so excited about where we're going with logistics at the moment. We had a chat earlier about the driverless car scenario, and if you look at the new Mercedes in South Africa, that's already able to reverse itself, and probably could drive itself totally already. Imagine a world where trucks are delivered driverlessly, on time. More and more computer programs are coming out able to track cargo, able to pick up cargo and deliver cargo. The world is speeding up, but logistics is speeding up. One of the challenges to logistics really at the moment really is people and the lack of skills that people have. And this is mitigated by the computer programs, by driverless scenarios. As these all speed up, logistics speed up, it becomes more and more efficient. The costs come down, products get cheaper. It's an exciting world out there. With logistics moving forward, I see it a situation where most people working in the industry will require to be subject matter experts, to be an expert on customs, to be an expert on Africa, to be an expert on air freight. If you're not an expert in one of those fields, then you're not adding value to the transport chain. And if you're not doing that, then the chances are you're probably a computer programmer or a data capturer, nothing else.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Lars Greiner on the logistics industry.